Welcome everyone, I hope you're well. We are back on our bull and doing mandatory battles only in the first DLC of the game. This time the Olive Armor and Pokemon Shield. I specify version because the rival and their teams differ greatly between versions along with the challenges they will pose. We will battle Avery, who is arguably the harder of the two for reasons I will explain shortly. Let's go over the rules first. 1. No optional battles. If we gain anything from a battle that is not required, be that money, XP, or items, we have to load our prior save. This battle is 100% mandatory to finish the Isle of Armor storyline. It is not happening. If we can flee from a forced wild encounter, we must do so. No items from the bag. 2. No items from the bag in battle. Self-explanatory. Potions won't save us here. Every challenge run does this at this point. Held items are okay though, and Pokéballs are allowed where applicable. 3. We will not be receiving any save data bonuses. This means we are not getting the Eevee and Pikachu for having Let's Go save data, as that feels frankly too easy. Also, not everyone can get these, so it feels against the spirit of things. 4. We will not be getting Pokemon from the Digglet Quest on the Isle of Armor, as this allows us to receive multiple level 30 Pokemon for free. So unless you want this video to be Marowak destroying the island, no. The point of this run is to do bare minimum fights and work with a limited team to win anyways. This is 2 against the spirit of things and fuss, also banned. 5. We will not be using camp, XP candies, or rare candies. These can grant infinite XP, which no. Just no. The run ends when we clear the Tower of Darkness or Tower of Water. Everything else is fair game, farming wallets, wallet traders, the Cameratic, and so on. And with that, our journey begins. First we battle Hop, and for a starter we choose Scorbunny. I named him Kraft cause, let's be real, that's a slice of Kraft cheese on his nose. The reason being that Raiboot has some great coverage, powerful moves like Blaze Kick and high attack and speed along with passable bulk. Electro Ball is also a useful tool, albeit one that saw far less use than I initially expected. We don't need to reset for nature since we can get nature prints on the ground at the Isle of Armor, but we get adamant anyways, which is attack up, special attack down. For us, this is just perfect. It does not get better than that. Hi doggy. I have nothing else to say about this. There's some wild encounters on the way, but we can flee from those so they don't count, and I just did that. Also, what the fuck is the fog ability? It is never elaborated on the lore story as far as I know. It's actually really confusing. Can they like create illusions or... Okay, bye doggy. We'll never see him again on this file. There are 2 mandatory trainers on the route to Professor Magnolia's place. These 2 are nothing to write home without. Scorbunny can handle them on fees, but we do get Quick Attack, which helps a lot since it is better than Tackle in every way, and we don't have a physical fire move yet. This would be a good time to note, especially since these battles are going to be sped up so fast. Sonic would be jealous during the B-roll. That in the description there will be an unlisted video showing all the battles in my live commentary of them at the time. Feel free to click that link and watch it. With that, we arrive at our final battle with Hop. Now we face off against Hop one last time before we ditch this kid. There isn't a ton to say here. Scorbunny can take on all 3 of his Pokemon using Quick Attack for everything but his Grookey. With that, we can finally begin doing battles tied to the, actual Isle of Armor storyline, which begins with our second team member actually. After we enter the wild area for the first time, we gain access to battle with the Galarian Slowpoke that got lost and ended up here. We will never be able to evolve it, and it's already 2 higher levels than Kraft. This bodes ill for our future prospects, to say the least. However, Slowpoke itself is great, starting with Yawn, which is a huge help for every battle. Sleep is massive for some of the strong opponents we will be facing soon. With that said and done, our second Pokemon, Chonks, named for his surprisingly good bulk and chunky physique, joins the team. Now, with that said and done, we have access to a lot, but we won't be getting access to some other things. Now would be a good time to discuss our prospects. So here's the thing. The wild area gives us an absurd amount of options. I can't hold all of these options. We get leftovers. We get infinite of every TR since every single one can be popped from the wallet traders, and we get berries out the wazoo. Everything we could ever need. What do we not get? Fast travel and the bike actually. We are on foot for this entire journey start to finish, which makes grinding watts and respawning items far slower. Why can't we get fast travel? Bike is obvious if you're familiar with Galar, but for those who aren't, it's a few routes down the line after many mandatory trainers. On the related note, this is also the reason we cannot evolve Slowpoke, as acquiring the item to evolve Trunks into his final form on the Isle of Armor requires a water crossing bike, which we cannot get as that's even further down the line. What about fast travel though? Sure, we just need to see the opening ceremony, which requires us to check into the Badoo drop-in, which we need the Battle Team Yell to do. Battle Team Yell. Battle. Well, fuck. Okay, so no fast travel, which makes surrounding resources each day slower. At least we can battle and rage to reset dense river and watts. Battle. I am going to scream. We can use wishing pieces to skip time, but those are not viable to farm for us to say the least, so we have to wait for the reroll on the TR traders each day if we need a specific TR, or dens to reset if we need more watts. Well, this blows. But the next battle is at least fairly easy as we finally arrive on the Isle of Armor and battle Avery for the first time. Our first battle with Avery is a little tight but pretty easy. Granted, his Abra and by extension the Kadabra he will have later is shockingly powerful. Abra has over 100 base special attack, which is on par with Charizard. Kadabra's is higher than Charizard's. Luckily, we can easily take it out with 2 quick attacks, but then Craft is too beat up to handle Avery's Slowpoke. But Trunks can wear it down easily, if slowly by using Yawn and Acid. With that, victory is ours, and we are right on to the hardest battle so far, Mustard. For this battle, we need to pick up a few things. First off, we need to buy the Protect TM and teach the Trunks, along with giving Trunks leftovers. We also give Trunks the move Psychic via TR, use the Cramomatic to give Craft the Blaze Kick, and work up moves via TRs. Finally, to round things off, Craft gets a Lychee Berry to boost attack at low HP and an Agility TR. To start off, we send in Trunks to protect turn 1 to stave off Manfood's Fake Out, which it always follows with U-turn. This is good because Manfu hits really hard. We protect again, Yawn, protect, and keep cycling Shinx asleep and growling down his attack as much as we can. When Shinx is debuffed to Helmet back, Craft enters the fray and uses 1 agility and 2 workups, followed by the Lychee Berry being eaten, boosting attack further. From here, Blaze Kick can sweep Mustard's duo of powerful Pokemon, tight though this victory may be. We do have to protect when Manfu comes in, otherwise we get destroyed by Fake Out, and with that, victory is ours. The next 3 battles, which are free XP, are so easy not even worth talking about. So instead, as I show a B-roll for them, I'm going to discuss some important mechanics that are relevant to this run. Mustard sends us to get Avery's outfit back from the free fast Slowpoke. These battles are nothing to write home about, but under the hood, the Slowpoke hold a Solid Berry, which boosts speed at low HP, have perfect HP and speed IVs, max speed EVs, and 6 special events EVs exactly for some reason. Which is really weird, because the EVs increase your stats after multiples of 4, so I don't know why they have exactly 6. It doesn't make the difference between them having 1 extra special defense point or 2. They also start each battle with max speed buffs. We make sure to send out both Craft and Trunks against each one, which brings us to the first notable mechanic. In Sword and Shield, you get more EXP if you enter the field against each opponent, which we min-max here while we have the chance. We also use this a little in the next battle, but this is the main time this mechanic is relevant since none of these free battles are difficult. Trunks can take them all, albeit slowly. The next mechanic we should discuss is the Cramomatic, a wonderful device which grants us access to various useful TRs and held items. But how do we use it? Well, every item you can put into the Cramomatic has a type and a value. The type of the first item and the value of all 4 items together determines what you can get. There's multiple calculators you can use if you want a specific outcome. There are also set recipes, such as converting free of a treasure item into one version of the treasure item with a better value, like such as free nuggets into a big nugget. The 4th item in this recipe needs to be can be any random item, but it needs to go in specifically salt free. For example, nugget, anything nugget will give you a big nugget. This can be used to get most anything from the Cramomatic we need, because by visiting the Digging Bros in the wild area, we can give them watts to dig up treasures and then combine those into the larger, more valuable treasures for the Cramomatic. This is very tedious. I would like to remind you that I cannot fly If I need items, I gotta walk all the way to the Digging Bros, farm items and watch the pay them, then march all the way back here to continue the story and use the Cramomatic. Regardless, we get a choice to cancel Starter after we finish this trial between Squirtle and Bulbasaur. This seems to imply that Leon took the Charmander. Granted, Squirtle is our best option anyways. We already have a fire type, and Bulbasaur is poison and grass, leaving it weak to Avery. So we take our Squirtle, dubbed Wags, look at that little tail go, it's so cute. Wags joins our crew and we are on to the next battle with Avery again. This battle with Avery, we open with Wags to get him a little extra EXP before going into Chonks with classic leftover Jean Protect combo, but now with Calm Mind as well. Won't be using that here however, but it will be pivotal in the future. Instead, Crab comes in after we play Yonda, Avery's Slowpoke, and sets up with Agility and 2 workups before sweeping with Blaze Kick. The power boost from Charcoal helps us defeat Woobat, who has the ability Unaware. This ability ignores enemy buffs and is a major problem on powerful Pokemon. Woobat is not dangerous yet, but it will soon pose a massive threat. Kadabra is of no real issue and we win. However, Avery does not take this loss well. Our hardest battle's entire run awaits us. We can prepare via getting items and tiaras from the Cramomatic, but at the end of the day, we have to rip the band-aid off. Our final battle with Avery is next. Let's begin. This Avery battle is tough. Up until this point, I have been ensuring all my Pokemon stay alive to get as much EXP as possible, but here, since this is our hardest battle, we have to take some KOs. This battle starts with the Dynamax tutorial pop-up because this is the first time we've seen it. As a side note, our Dynamax HP is lower than normal because it's impossible to get Dynamax candies in this run, so instead of getting double HP when we Dynamax, we only get a 50% boost. I find this very funny because who has this as their first Dynamax battle? Have you ever seen this pop up here? Leave a comment if you have, it's really funny. The Cramomatic can give us the Foul Play TR, which is actually the hardest hitting move that we can get on Chonks. See, Foul Play scales off the enemy's attack, not ours. And with Avery's team being weak to it and several levels above us, it becomes a very reliable attack. We set up on Ponyta with Calm Mind, though technically in retrospect, Amnesia would have been better. Sleeping, protecting, and stalling, so when Ponyta faints, we are at or near full HP. Next out is Swoobat. Remember how I said Unaware can be a problem? Yeah, ignoring our defense buffs makes Swoobat incredibly dangerous. Thankfully, the terrain that Avery sets at the start of the battle, he cheats to do that by the way, is long gone by the time Swoobat emerges. We take heavy damage after landing a arm, but then we can protect and Dynamax after it falls asleep, defeating it in 2 max darknesses, which does hit harder than Foul Play. I checked the math. It is a range to kill though, but it's reliable enough. While Woobat is down, we level up one more time on Chonk, which is just enough to take the leftover recovery from 3 per turn to 4 per turn, which is a nice boost at least. We max guard on our final Dynamax turn before putting Kadabra to sleep and using Foul Play on it as well. However, Chonks does not have a ton left in the tank at this point, and Avery's final Pokemon is his Galarian Slowbro, the evolution we could never acquire. This being because, again, you need to cross the water to get the item, and we can never do that. He Dynamaxes Slowbro, which we managed to sleep after surviving a couple max boosts from it, but it is after Dynamax ends this beast becomes the most dangerous. Its signature move, Shell Sidearm, calculates if it does more damage as a physical or special move and attacks accordingly, meaning it bypasses our special defenses by counting it as a physical move. Chonks isn't quite enough. With that, we have lost. Except this crap with the Blaze Kick, and it crits, and we win. Victory is ours. We are given Cub Fu. We will need to use to complete the Tower of Waters or Tower of Darkness, which recommend level 30, and we have to use Cub Fu alone, who's level 10, with no chance to level him up. But don't you worry, I have a plan. With Cubfu gone, we can take on one of the towers without it. I will be doing the Tower of Darkness, as Wags will be far more useful within it than the Tower of Waters. I also teach him Muddy Water via TR, now that he is evolved. This is our final climb. If I save in there, and I cannot win. Our file was soft lock as we have to redo the player 4 as we lose inside, which is extra battles. So I did a test run and well, here's how it went. This battle was funny. Zora would go down to 2 muddy waters, but the second one missed. So I go into the craft and finish it off a blaze kick. Right? Nope. Also misses. So we have to bring in Chonks, Yana, and finish it with foul play. I really wish I had given Chonks another move before coming in here, but oh well. Next battle. The second floor has a Scraggy, who is shockingly bulky. He takes muddy water after muddy water, but Wag just isn't quite enough, taking too much damage over the turns. We break in craft and finish it off with blaze kick. Okay, next. Wax takes out Inkay easily with 2 muddy waters. What else can I say here? These battles were originally designed to be soloed by Cubfu. There's actually a lot of special dialogue if you don't use Cubfu trying to dissuade you. It's genuinely really sick. Not using the VDC breaking barrier is optimal though for this run, so yeah. The second to last floor pits us against a Krokorok who gets clapped by muddy water. Megs may not have helped much for Avery, but he really pulled through here. Good job, little buddy. But our journey isn't over. A weak one though may be, we must defeat a legendary Pokemon. Mustard's Cubfu, who has a massive level advantage on us. This is it. This is the end of our journey. Let us begin. Our final foe is Mustard, or as Kendrick would call him, Mustard! Wags opens up with muddy water to get off some great damage, but that's all he can do before going down. Cubfu does not fuck around. We do land a crit and an accuracy drop though, giving us a very strong start. We send in Chonks next, who wears Cubfu down for a mix of sleep and Rocky Helmet and foul play. Is what I would say if Rocky Helmet ever actually came into play, but it's never did and Chonks finishes Cubfu off before it even wakes up. But that victory is ours, and we have completed the Isle of Armor storyline with the bare minimum battles, no save data bonuses, no EXP candies or experience from camp, or the Digglet Quest rewards, and Pokemon Shield. But how did we do? This run was way too easy. Disappointingly so. Boring, even. The only hard battles were this final Avery fight and the first battle with Mustard. That was it. The Teal Mask mandatory battles only run took way more min-maxing panning, link in description, or my Pokemon Shield lowest possible levels video, which is my best video in my opinion, also in the description. Seriously, I like these runs for the sense of desperation of pushing these games to the absolute limit, tooth and nail, skin of your teeth, scraping by, going for as far as you can with limited resources. I wasn't pushing here at all. I was at worst having a moderately tricky jog, and I didn't write this in the script, but I'm gonna mention it. We can EV train our Pokemon by giving enough watts to Honey after we get Cubfu, and technically it might have been possible to complete the tower with an EV trained Cubfu. I just never bothered to check, because why would I? What would be the point? Now some would say that trying to get this desperation, almost like survival vibe from Pokemon is weird. I would agree. But it's what makes me happy, and I want to see every minimum battles run done across the series, including the already game DLCs. So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it. I mean, the first DLCs are designed to be played early game to enhance replayability and even function as their own smaller self-contained games, and let's be honest, that's sick as hell. That's why I did Teal Mask and Isle of Armor. Point is, this run was more for the sake of having it done and documented. It was dull. I may do Sword since Clara Free might be interesting, but she has a psychic weakness and no unaware uses, so I highly doubt it. And having Bulbasaur rather than Squirtle will make Tower of Waters easier, but I don't have a copy of Sword right now. If I do another run like this, I'm probably going to do Pokemon Sun and Moon, if I don't do Isle of Armor Sword, since I imagine those would be far harder. Alola is tough, they don't mess around in Alola. This one fucking sucked, dude. Thanks a ton for watching though, and I hope you all have a great day.